Welcome, everybody. My name is Bruce Spurr. I'm the CEO of Grow Your Center and co-founder, along with Chris. This is Chris and I on top of the Eiffel Tower a number of years ago, before the pandemic, I think, right? I think we squeezed that one in.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've been an entrepreneur since 1998. It's been a long ride. I've had a full service agency that kind of did business from Fortune 50 down to colleges, universities, recruiting for the Air Force, did all kinds of stuff. One of my favorite clients of all time have always been business owners, because business owners basically their life, their business is on the line. They take money out of their own pocket and put it towards what they're trying to accomplish. And I've always, as an entrepreneur and a fellow business owner, I feel I've always resonated and connected with that. I'm a father of two, and I got two bonus children as well. This is my eldest, William. He's been part of my slide since he was 2 years old. So we founded Grow Your Center over 5 years now. If you can believe that, Chris. Isn't that crazy? What a ride. And
That's
he's learning how to drive, which
that's
is
that's
pretty cool.
unbelievable. I can't even believe that that's gone so fast. Where did the time go?
Isn't it? Right? Honestly. Well, it's been a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs. A lot of downs too, I guess. Yeah, he's learning how to drive, he's having a good time. 7 going on 17, honestly. This is Lucas, the youngest. He just turned 3, and he's a riot. What a difference in personalities between the two. It blows my mind. Here's the extended family. That's the love of my life, Kat, and her 2 kids, Max and Lucy. And this is us. And camping this past summer, I found a giant bear up in the Porcupine Mountains near Lake Superior. And each kid has such a unique and different personality, and it just captured perfectly with it. We didn't arrange any of this; they just did it, which I thought was really cute. So Grow Your Center, we do 2 basically things. The first thing is we help you get full with kids, with children. We have the GYC enrollment system that has 4 levels to it. So if you're suffering for enrollment, we're the place to be to kind of build you a business system inside to help you get and stay full forever. And we have our GYC staffing system. And the data from this is what we're going to talk about today. So staffing, obviously, it's been hard. Staffing has always been a challenge for every business since the dawn of time. The first person hired somebody else to do work for them. They had to, make sure they showed up, did the work well, and then continue to do that day in, day out. And not long ago, staffing was tough to find good people, but you could drop $100 on Indeed and pick through some options. Today, that's no longer the case. Just the media spend alone is 10 times that. You have to spend $1,000 to start getting some options, and then people just barely still show up for the interviews, show up for the jobs on day one, even if you get hired. So there's been just tragic no-show rates. Experienced people are snatched up extremely quick, and we're going to talk about that. And pay rates have gone through the roof. And the competition for people is just tougher than it's ever been before. It was never easy in the childcare space to build a great team consistently because of the turnover, but today it's even worse than ever. And there is hope in that darkness. And not to be all doom and gloom, but there is hope. And we've heard all the stories. And this is kind of a lot of broken hearts here, because I know Chris and I both, we talk about this frequently, and it, in the support of business owners, it hurts us when we see dark, unenrolled classrooms because you don't have enough staff, leaving so much money on the table. And still having all that overhead cost to pay. The constant firefighting, juggling of staff, new staff coming on, don't have any experience, and risk of licensing and violations. We've heard those are on the uptick consistently. Cost of turnover and hiring is just brutal. The exhaustion, just the sheer exhaustion of trying to get people to show up. I mean, it's tiring. And then losing your best staff because of all that juggling and all this creates this kind of vicious cycle that makes it kind of worse. And I just got off a phone a week ago with somebody who just had that. He had this best teacher leave, and she just got tired of being juggled from classroom to classroom and needed coverage. And he was like, "I'm trying my best." He just hired 5 people, and only 3 showed up. Within 2 weeks, he only had one of them left over. So this is the darkness, and there is a light, there is some hope, and I just want to tell you that maybe to kick this off, I love this quote: "Grapes must be crushed to make wine, and diamonds under pressure form under pressure, and seeds grow in darkness." So if you're feeling crushed, under pressure, in darkness, you just got to remember you are in a powerful place of transformation. And I read this quote once in a while because Chris and I both experienced the crush under pressure and in darkness, even coming with staffing issues. Our business is the same as yours. From a staffing perspective, we have a lot of those same issues. So we feel it. We know where this is all coming from and what it feels like. So to brighten the world, our goal today and to go through a bit of a transformation is to get more good people applying to your job posts. Like, where are they and how do we get more of them? Dramatically improve show up rates. You can do that with the help of technology, some processes, some systems, and have more of your offers get accepted. Make more offers and have more of those accepted, and they actually show up for work consistently because you're getting good people, because you're getting quality, the higher level of quality of folks who are coming to work for you guys. So I want to invite you guys to turn on boss mode. This is a kind of GYC core concept, and what does it really mean? At its core, it's to build a system to solve root cause challenges. Because we all know if the roots are rotten, then so are the fruit. When the fruits are healthy, then the tree will grow and we can harvest and pluck the fruit and eat all day long and share those with our colleagues and friends and family. And this is kind of the root of what we talk about at GYC, turn on boss mode, and what boss mode means. It's solving that root cause problem. And I'm an engineer. That's my background. I have a degree in engineering physics, and a lot of my friends are rocket scientists. They literally like control the Canada arm up in space. They work at SpaceX and NASA, and do crazy math at universities all around the world. I was not that smart. I was like the bottom of my class. I was number 23 of 23 people. So, but those engineering principles still apply. Same thing. You give us a problem, and we have to break it down into little pieces and break it down into a system, and then solve each component. And that's what we want to. That's what we want to do with you guys today. Now, 3 years ago, we actually started a done for you recruitment program to help with the recruiting challenge, and it was hard. It was like heavy lifting, man. But like, poor guy pushes the boulder up the hill. I felt like we were pushing like 10 different boulders, and we came back to the first one and rolled all the way back down to the bottom. And we had a lot of successes, and we also didn't, and we learned a lot from those. And we gathered a lot of information, we gathered a lot of data. And when you start looking through what we gathered over the last 3 years, we started piecing some ideas together. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. And that's why everything we talk about today is born out of this, born out of childcare centers just like yours who are experiencing challenges. We figured out how to overcome those challenges. And then we're taking that, consolidating into a system, and then sharing it back with everybody. Those are the same kind of cases we experience on almost on a daily basis around here, and the problems we're trying to solve. So we reviewed 80,000 plus applications, screened 4,000 plus prospects, and then here's the key of it: we followed up with a lot of no-shows, offer decliners, quitters, and figured out why. And it's hard to gather that data, so we had to do it over time. But we did start painting a very clear picture as to what was happening and where we can leverage our knowledge and tools and support our clients better. So we kind of figured it out. This is our goodwill hunting moment on the drawing board, the tough math equation. But this was more of a systems problem. But we figured out what attracts good, solid prospective staff, what makes them show up, what makes them stay, what makes them A players, and what we did as an organization, what our clients did as an organization, and where the gaps were. So in our recruiting effort, where did we go wrong? In their taking over and passing the baton, where did it go wrong? And then where the connection points are. And from that, it painted a very clear picture. The number one thing is that there isn't one thing. It was a lot of little things. And that's kind of the hardest problem to solve sometimes, because if there's a silver bullet for a silver bullet problem, it's kind of easy. You just kind of do that one thing and then you solve it. You go and spend more money on Indeed and that solves the problem. But we tried that and it works for some and not for others. And you're like, well, why is it working for some and not others? Maybe they have a different problem. And then we go dissect that one. Oh, that worked for them. We try it for someone else. And no, it doesn't work. That doesn't improve things. So they have a different problem, and just down the line. And that's how you break things down. And when you look at a staffing solution, you really got three big parts. You got the hiring component, the onboarding, and the retention. And you're basically solving, it's kind of a linear equation. You need to find and hire what we call superstar potential. We never hire somebody because they're superstars. We hire somebody because we think they may be. We fall in love with potential, and we engage and we connect with potential, and that's all we can do. And the better we are at reading people, understanding people, kind of getting a sense of character, trusting our guts on a lot of things, having good processes and systems and good questions and interview, all that stuff helps you find who has the best potential and more than likely will sustain it. And then during the onboarding process, that's where you're going to weed out that failed potential, where the people don't live up to the expectations. And then once they do, you find your good, solid A and B players, and then you have a nurturing and a coaching up program to get those Bs to an A and keep the As engaged and happy and satisfied. And these are the kind of the three pieces. Now, if you don't have the hiring one dialed in, it doesn't really matter how great your onboarding or your retention piece is. You can have the greatest organization in the world from a great place to work, but when you're trying to hire people and your hiring funnel is broken, they're never going to experience that. So we got to start back at the beginning and really dial that piece in, and that's where a lot of the pain comes from. So breaking down the hiring funnel, what we're going to do today is going to map out a staffing system, very specifically a hiring part of the staffing system. We're going to troubleshoot and help you troubleshoot where your weak links are. And we're going to give you some advice and pointers and tactics to help you fix some of them and where you can look to fix. We're also going to give you some benchmarks and some case studies and all kinds of goodies. Now, and also at the very end, we're going to give you an option of working with us. We've got an incredible new program. It's super cool that we're launching right now, and it's just a absolutely phenomenal deal. So kick off. How do we find and hire superstar potential? Well, it's a 7-step funnel. Starts with planning and then posting a job post, responding to applicants as they come in, screening them, doing a full interview, hopefully on your location, making them an offer, and then following up to close that offer if they don't accept it right away, right on the spot. I'm going to break each one of these down and give you kind of tips and tricks and ideas and secrets about every single one of these. So the first one is planning. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Now, this is critical. We find a lot of clients just skip this step in general and just are basing their hiring system on past assumptions and expectations. You really need to do a competitive analysis if you haven't done one. You really need to do it every 6 to 12 weeks because things are radically changing continuously. Your competitors are changing up what they're doing. Things are evolving in the marketplace. And you really got to see where you are relative to the other childcare opportunities in the market. You don't have to worry too much about what Subway and Amazon, the other guys are doing. It's almost impossible to compete with them. You do need to be able to compete, and you do need to understand your direct competitors, which is the other childcare centers in your niche. It's about gathering intelligence, gathering data, and then making strategic decisions based on that data. So if somebody's paying $2, $3, everybody around you is paying $2, $3 more an hour than you are, you have no choice. You can't compete. It's impossible. If everybody's offering benefits, you got to figure that piece out. If nobody is, then that's something you can take off the table. Talk about opportunities, career paths, growth opportunities in the organization. There's lots of ways to compete. And within your competitive analysis, I'm going to show you some case studies of job posts and other elements of what you can implement in your competitive analysis as well. The third component of this is you got to prioritize roles. We don't have infinite money, infinite budgets, but a lot of you guys have maybe 3 or 4 roles that you're trying to hire for. Maybe you have 3 teachers, an assistant director, a bus driver, and a cook. Those are 4 different roles, 4 different kinds of people that we're going to need to attract. There's multiple positions for the teacher, but the rest are individual. And you need to prioritize them because unless you have a massive budget to hit up each one and enough infrastructure, and there's different people interviewing for each one, and they've got lots of calendar space to be able to do the follow-ups, you're not going to get great results by tackling them all at once. But if you tackle one at a time, put all your wood behind one fire, make it a giant bonfire, and signal everybody around you, this is who we need right now. And then put all your effort and resources towards it for a couple of weeks. You knock that one down, and then you do the next one. And you got to be strategic about this. Who do you need? Like if there's no cook in the kitchen and you need the food made, maybe that's the one you prioritize first, and you knock it out, and then the next one. And that's a better way of prioritizing your roles and putting more of your effort. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tactically on the job boards, things like that, media budgets, and why this makes a lot of sense. Second component of the funnel of your hiring funnel is posting your job. So where to post it? Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and Meta, Facebook and Instagram, top three places. I think 80–90% of the results probably come from Indeed. ZipRecruiter can work for some certain kinds of positions. There's opportunities there that ebb and flow. And then Facebook and Instagram, they seem to work for some, not for others. And they seem to work for the ones who do, predominantly for kind of lower level roles, assistants, floaters, some administrative positions, etc., rather than full teachers. There's also been a little bit of success in LinkedIn for directors or assistant directors, regional managers, VPs, things like that. If you have multiple locations and looking to kind of build a bigger administrative team, those are the job boards. If you're going to focus all your effort and you've got 5 teacher positions to fill and you're a smaller center, put all your eggs in Indeed. Just tackle that, nail that, crush that, and don't worry about the rest. Now, if you have an easy way of posting on multiple job boards, great. Just try and put majority of your effort in one place and then prioritize that. For your job post itself, you got to be different. And I'm going to walk through what that exactly looks like and what that means. And then finally, on your media spend, if Indeed is telling you you need to spend $30 a day on a position and you spend 15, you're just burning money. You have to spend at least 1.5 times what they're saying. So if they say 30, spend 45 a day. Now, if you only have a budget of $450, just do it for 10 days, gather and go through that. And then when your budget resets, do it again. That it's way better to do that than try and break it down by like your 4 different roles, $5 a day each, for 4 different for per day for the whole month. So that doesn't work. You want to put all your wood behind one fire and then move it to the next one and the next one and the next one. And it's okay to turn those job ads on and off. So there's this concept about I learned about 22 years ago, and somebody presented it to me at a conference, a business conference, and it was called the tyranny of average. And they basically showed a bell curve, and they said, the vast majority of people operate inside of the average bell curve. Some at the bottom, some in the middle, some at the top. But very few people stand out and work on standing out. And marketing is all about how do you stand out and be different. If you guys remember the 1984 Apple ad for the Super Bowl that basically put them back on the map and launched, one of the $1 trillion company today. And back then they were on the verge of bankruptcy and had launched the new colorful iMacs, and their slogan was "Be different." And it works in marketing. The worst you can do is be the same as anybody else. And when we're looking at enrollment and parents, a lot of people understand the concept of standing out, being unique, what our unique selling points are, but you got to do the same thing on hiring. We're hiring now. We're, as job business owners and employers, we're the ones who are trying to market to staff. Like, it's no longer us picking and choosing who we want. It's us selling ourselves to the best people out there and hoping they choose us. So I tried to be normal once. It was the worst 2 minutes of my life. Stand out, be different, and you'll have basically a stellar career. And so here are some job posts and how to be different. So these ones are pretty cookie cutter, a well-established childcare facilities. And these are, so the easiest way to do a competitive analysis for hiring is to go in Indeed and do some searches for your key terms, preschool teacher, childcare teacher, etc., for whatever role you're looking for, and spend about half an hour reading about 30, 40, 50 job posts. It takes about 30 seconds each, and you're going to get a really good sense of what's good and what is not, and what you can borrow from, and see what's in your marketplace. You'll get what their pay rates are, the benefits, all of that stuff, and you would put that into a document. So here's the job post itself. Professionals with a passion for education and caring, blah, blah, blah. Please submit your resume along with a brief description. Here's a role, here's the pay scale, here are the benefits. Pretty standard issue template job. Here's another one. Develop and nurture young children by building relationships with families, keeping children safe. The educational requirements are successful teacher must have the following: a GED, blah, blah, blah. Following education experience that are preferred. Here are the duties. So this is a pretty standard issue job post, right? It is basically all about the business owner, the employer. Has very little to do with the applicant. Here's another one: pre-K lead teacher. The lead teacher is responsible for all aspects of planning. Here's everything you got to do. Here's the work. Here's the qualifications we're looking for you from you. or here are the preferred qualifications, and you stand out. These are classic job posts that have been around for decades, and they do not work. Here are better ones. These are all from the same location. I just went in and did a search exactly as I'm telling you. Compensation range, $16 to $19 an hour, right at the top. It's the first thing they say. So when I was looking at the rest of them, the compensation range from about $14 to $18, $19. These guys have a higher range than anybody else. What do? It's competitive advantage. They're putting it right on top. The hours are 9 to 6, rather than they're probably finding a lot of early morning people, or don't want to, or weekends or part time. They're saying these are our hours right up front. Imagine your future working with a world-class team. Career at the center includes medical, 401k. Do you see a single qualification? This is what we're looking for. No, it hasn't. They've asked for nothing so far. They've just been giving you what you get as a potential employee here. Phenomenal. Here's a slightly different one. Similar idea though. Join a strong community where all we do is care for children and families we serve every day. You want benefits? We support you with a minimum 50%, blah, blah, blah. You want balance? Here's what you get. You want opportunity? Here's what you get. You want recognition? We provide a positive, fun workplace. Then as a teacher, you are, and here are the characteristics, so they see themselves in this post. You haven't asked them for anything yet. You're basically just kind of defining what you get, and right up front, indicating what you're listening and paying attention, and you're actively listening, and you're responding to what people are looking for in the marketplace. So it means there's a level of care and validation there. We are proud to be the childcare center of choice for highest quality care. Here at We Strive to Work, create a work culture. So right away, they're talking about how they work. It feels like family and a second home. Here's why you'll love working with us: Blue Cross, Blue Shield, dental, vision, weekly, PTO, 401k. So whatever you guys got, list them. You don't have to have all those things. But if all your competitors do, you might have to figure out how to get them. Who we are, a little bit about the core values. Again, they haven't asked about the qualifications, responsibilities, nothing. They're only talking about who might be the best character fit for them. And if somebody sees themselves in here, in this, gets excited by it, that's going to be a great applicant for them. This is going to drastically improve the quality of the applicant here. So Mary Ellen saying, this seems to be very wordy. Yeah, one of the things I would do with this is possibly cut it down. So these are not flawless. These are just places that you can take a better experience from. So and then you can try different things. In some markets, for some positions, people want to read a lot. If you've ever read The Tipping Point from Malcolm Gladwell, you'd find there's 3 characteristics of people. People who are skim readers, people who are in-depth readers and want to read everything, and then those are kind of in between and what I love to share and communicate and want to talk. So
she said that on the old ones, on the old versions. So
okay.
That was on the ones that you didn't revise. So now we're looking at yeah.
So these ones are great, and we could even make them better. But I would test this kind and then test a little less if you want. But you're gonna get people who want a lot of details. I love this one here on the left-hand side because it really breaks things down with bullets, etc., really nicely. This one is the paragraph's a little bit too big, but they're beautiful. And then this one's kind of in between on the one on the right over here. So find what works, test it out, but all of these 3 are radically different. And I got to tell you, I went through 40 job posts that all sounded similar to the other 3 before I found these 3. I'm not going to tell you which one's our client. Now, the next stage in the hiring funnel is responding to applicants. I was in Miami years ago, maybe 15 years ago, for a Formula Kart 4 race. It's like a lower level of Formula One, similar kind of style cars racing around the streets of Miami. And I was in the pit, and I got to listen in on the race director. And the car comes in, and then gets tires swapped, all this stuff, and then goes out. And they're all celebrating. I'm like, what are they celebrating? And the race director goes, we just carved 1.2 seconds off of our pit time. And I was like, 1.2 seconds? This is like a 3-hour race and like 250 laps. He goes, Bruce, you know how many laps it takes to make up 1.2 seconds on the track? The difference between first place and 10th place is about 5 seconds. So right now, we're probably gonna, if we can continue and just be average, we're gonna be in pole position. And they've never been, and that race team was new, and they had never polled before, which has gotten in the top 3 spot in a race. So speed like that doesn't matter. We don't need seconds in childcare and responding to our applications, but we do need hours. You do, if you're in days, you're gonna lose. You got to respond to an applicant that comes in within 1 to 3 hours. A good teacher with 5 years of experience that has a great attitude, is going to show up every day for you, is not going to call in every week. That person is gone, has 10 offers and is gone within 24 hours, guys. They're gone. They're not going to wait for you. You have to be on top of it. You have to be the most personable person that they want to engage with, and speed matters more than anything else. That whole adage of hire slow, fire fast is no longer valid anymore. It's hire at the moment you find somebody good, you got to jump all over them and pull them in. Now, firing fast is still a good idea if they're messing up your business, but if you want good people, it's a churn rate. You got to go through people a lot faster. And that is part of the challenge of this whole thing. You got to be as quick as possible. You can set up notifications for people who enter your Indeed and you post a job. So you get an email, pop that email up, do a special inbox where it pops up on your phone right away, and then you're jumping all over them in the first place. So I remember Julie Roy back, who owned Montessori Education Centers, and she sold a couple of years ago. This was like in 2019. And she was like, you know what, Bruce, staffing is my number one competitive advantage. I need to get, I want to get the best people, and they disappear really quickly. Even back then, within a few days, they were gone. So she did it herself, an owner of 10 centers. You imagine, she had like 200 something staff, but she got a notification. She had a special inbox, a notification from Indeed. She saw that. It didn't matter what she was doing. She would be driving, pull over on the side of the road, and boom, respond to that person immediately. It was game changing. Today, it's speed equals quality. If you're not getting the quality of applicants, you're likely moving too slowly. I'm just going to let that sink and register. So screening your candidate. So this goes along with when they apply, and speed matters. While you're screening their application and deciding if you want to screen them or not, while you're looking at their application, deciding if you want to screen them or not, if you like somebody, pick up the phone immediately and call them. So that way you do the screening and the application reviews at the same time. You can, it's amazing if people actually pick up the phone. I'm actually kind of shocked at this. Our entire recruiting system is now built on immediately calling. And people are like, wow, I just applied for your job and 2 minutes later you're calling me. That's crazy. The criticism we get back on this is we sound desperate. It's not desperation. It's customer service, and you got to think of your prospects as your customer that you're trying to recruit into your business. So again, we're trying to flip that mindset, in that we're trying to sell them. They're not trying to sell us on coming to work. If you want to see them on face, ask them if they've got FaceTime. If you're using an Apple phone, you can, and 50% of people, 51% of people in the market have Apple phones. So there's a good chance they might hop on a FaceTime call, and you just enable FaceTime when you pick up that phone and call them. If you want to see them face to face, hey, can I text you a quick Zoom link? You can pop on. You just click on it and click the button, and you should be good to go. Vast majority will say yes if if they can talk right there on the spot and they pick up. More than likely, they can hop on FaceTime. So remember, you're calling them kind of out of the blue. So whatever, ask them permission to be on video, and then enable that. You're going to get a great response rate. Now, if you don't, do the phone screen. If they sound great on the phone, whatever they sound like is likely what they're going to be like. And then if you like them on the phone and you screen them and they pass their screening test, like the 10-15 minute screening call, invite them right away and book that second call, the full interview in person, right away. Make it like, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but make it that afternoon, that next morning. Do not delay. Do not book for next week. Book for next week, that person's gone. They're off the job market. They've already picked up 2 or 3 offers and then taken a job already. So texting is a game-changing component of all of this. If you guys are not texting your applicants, you're losing about 80% of your leads right away. If you're waiting more than 3 hours, you're losing 80% of your leads. If you're doing both, you're losing about 95% of your leads. Whatever you're spending on Indeed, and you're getting applicants in, and you're finding that it's not working, There might be something broken in that system. If you're finding you're not getting enough applicants, you might not be spending enough money in a consolidated time frame to get enough attention. Because if it's $30 a day and you spend 10, you're going to be on page 4. Nobody scrolls to page 4 anymore. Next component of the funnel is the interview. If you're not using an application to book those calls like Calendly, or you have an applicant tracking system that has this stuff built in, then you need to set this up. Applications like Calendly, where we use it, we've been using it at Guerrero Center. Chris uses it at the Chalker Success Company. You can set up automated reminders, text messages, emails, sends out a calendar invite. It does all that for you. Just set it up and off it goes. Checks your calendar when you're available. You organize the whole thing on that. It's an application. It's game changing. If you guys are getting a lot of no-shows, send out more text message reminders, at least the morning of the interview and an hour before. Those are minimums. There's not too many texts. And ask them to confirm. Are you coming? Do you need directions? If you want people to really show up, incentivize it. Hey, I'm going to swing by Starbucks. What's your favorite Starbucks beverage? You text them that. Hey, I was going to pick up some muffins or something as well, or cookies. Do you have anything that you don't eat or you don't like, or what's your favorite? And I'll see what I can do. And then have that. Remember, this is a sales process. There's nothing better than somebody showing up for an interview and going, "Here's my favorite Starbucks beverage, and here's a nice chocolate muffin." They're both in the background picture on here. You got to make it an experience for them on that interview when they come in. Have a table ready, a little placard. Should be a folded card you wrote their name on. You have a little packet for them about why it's so great to work here. Your offers are ready. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And try and book those interviews right on the call when you're screening them, and try and make them same day, next day at the very least. Try and find a time that will work. And the secret to this is making sure your calendar is open and available, or whoever's doing your hiring has an open available calendar. Because if you're doing the hiring, or your director, assistant director, or administrator is, and you go to the calendar and they're full of meetings already for the next 3 days, this is not working. If you're booking, if it's like today's Tuesday, if I'm booking for Thursday or Friday, I've already lost half my candidates. Friday, about 75%. The next week, it's going to be like a 90% no-show rate. The likelihood of somebody coming to your interview is 1 in 10. Why? Because they came to 3 other interviews and they've got offers already, and they've likely gotten a job already. When you come to make the offer, make it, guys, most of you guys can trust your gut and instincts about people. You don't need to think about it. If they're good, just make them an offer on the spot. Make it contingent on the background check, the fingerprints, anything that's necessary that they don't have already and you need for satisfy licensing. But make it right there. Have it prepared already. Have the documents, everything, their name on it, get it printed. Have fill in the blanks so you can just write it in. Whatever you need to do, make it, have it ready right there on the spot. There's like a picture of a guy here with a silver tray. I'm not joking. Like, go to Goodwill, and I mean, once in a while these things come up, and you just have to maybe buff them out a little bit, use them silver polish. I'd get somebody in with a white glove and have the offer on it, and lift up the lid and go, "We'd love for you to work here with us. This is our white glove service. We'd love to offer you something." If you guys are, if you have an elegant center, it looks like a high-end spa, do that. If it's really fun, bright. Play-based center, you're having a really good time there. Make it fun, make it interesting. I remember we used to do my old marketing agency years ago. We got a guy dressed up in a full scuba suit with a tank and flippers and goggles and everything, and it was for an organization that did aquatic maintenance and things like that. And he came in with a silver tray and the proposal for our agency on it, and it was he waddled through. He could barely see, and he waddled through the whole office, and people were like, "What is going on?" And then we presented our proposal to the marketing director there, and it was memorable. We got into the top 3 spot almost instantly just because of that. We know that because they told us. These kinds of things matter. These kinds of displays of these kind of what I call kind of marketing initiatives, and putting your best foot forward and making a great first impression, it really matters. It's being different. Absolutely. Last little tidbit is that qualifications still matter. But you have the qualifications on the back end. You can do those on the screening call. You can do those in the interview, depending on the level of qualifications that's necessary. So people are like, well, where do I put qualifications in the job post? Minimize what you put in the job post is the minimum that you need, and then you can screen those out afterwards. Because sometimes we find people who don't have the qualifications but are really keen, and sometimes there's a role for them as an administrator, assistant teacher, float, or something where they may not need those qualifications, but they're willing to start there because they're excited. So there's lots of opportunity. Talking to more people gets you more opportunity. The last piece of the hiring funnel is following up. Texting is your number one follow-up tool. If you got to be fun, interesting, I call it memeing them. Be engaging in your text messages. Anything that sounds like corporate speak is going to sound like corporate speak. You guys have a massive advantage of being childcare centers, so you're just intrinsically in a play-based kind of fun environment. Now, if you're a Montessori school, if you're a Reggio school, if you're a very scholastic, educationally focused, just make it your own. But still, you got to have that fun factor, that memorable fun factor of it. Also, pick up the phone and call people. So text them if they start engaging. Say, hey, do you mind if I jump on a call real quick with you? Just kind of, you're asking really good questions, and I just want to see where you're at. It's so interesting. We've kind of there's a lot of people who don't want to talk on the phone, but if you call them and you're doing it because you care about them and you're giving them an opportunity, it's amazing how many people want to take a phone call. Like nobody's gonna not take the phone call from somebody who wants to give them a prize or a lottery win or something. You know what I mean? You're gonna win a free car, and nobody's gonna not pick up that call. You guys think of yourselves as creating an awesome space for them to nurture their career, to grow. You're going to treat them awesome. People quit their managers, not the job. So if you guys are awesome managers, you feel like you have a great environment for people, you are a gift. So make that call and find out what's going on. 1 in 5 who decline you or ghost you might actually pick up the phone and give you some good data. Now, not everybody will. Not everybody will tell you, give you the honest truth, but it's amazing how many people will. And even if it's 1 in 5, after you get 20 or 30 of these, you're going to get some great data, and you might be able to go, oh, okay. We have some really negative reviews online, and we got to fix that. Oh, we don't have any reviews, and we need to fix that. Or, they'll give you some intel as to what's going on. Oh, like I interviewed last week, and you didn't make me the offer until Thursday. I had already got a job, and then 3 people tell you that, where your time gap needs to be crunched, and you got to figure things out. Great point. The best teachers will look at and read reviews online. Wow, we get that consistently. They will look at your curriculum page. They will look at the program, the type of programming you have. And there's frequently like, hey, look, I really like your school, but that's not the kind of teacher I want to be. I'm looking for this kind of organization or this kind of curriculum where I'm focused on this. And that's, solid feedback. So if you don't look good online, especially those millennial, we're now talking millennials are like 23, 24 to 38, 39 years old. And that's the vast majority of your workforce. They're going online and judging you. So it sounds harsh, but it's the reality. There's a meme for everybody. So find a meme that works for you guys and use it. Once you kind of nail it, you can, you will get a better response rate. I have never met a single person who doesn't like memes. Even people who hate memes secretly love memes. They probably love them more. They're just trying to be too cool for school. So let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. Because now it's time to kind of look at your system as a diagnostic. We're going to put our little Sherlock Holmes hat on and figure out where weak links are. Which component of this funnel are we not hitting kind of a 10 out of 10, knocking it out of the park? So if you look at any kind of system and you rank each one of these, and you kind of it's a bit subjective, but just try to be honest and true to yourself and look at all the factors we talked about. Are you responding quickly enough? Are you screening people and calling them immediately? Is the interview fun, dynamic, interesting? Is it quick? Is it happening relatively within a couple of days, etc.? Are you doing enough follow-ups for increase that no-show rate? Rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 at each one of these steps. And if your planning is a 10 out of 10 and your posting is an 8 out of 10, you got a great job post, you feel you're spending a good amount of money at 1.5 times that recommended rate on Indeed. You're responding really quickly, but your screening is a little, you're not quite, you're not doing you're screening 2-3 days later. You're picking up the phone and calling them, or trying to book them in and figure out what a good time is to call them and connect with them. It isn't as quick as it could be. It's a 5. Well, that's going to be your results. This is called the theory of constraints when you're looking at any kind of system that has a linear, logical, sequential pattern. If your worst component is a 5, you're never going to get better than a 5 out of 10 result. Now, if you improve that one to an 8, your next constraint is going to be the next lowest number that you're looking at and improving. And if you sat down and you really thought through all the different components and you kind of really give yourself the honest, put your finger on the truth of each one, give yourself an honest rating, you can look really quickly at where you need to improve. Now, pick the one that's lowest and focus on that. Elevate that as high as you can get it. Like, just crush that. Because this is overwhelming if you try and do everything at once. But if you take each component one at a time and break it down and try and do that piece the best you can, within 30 days, you're going to have an absolutely transformed business. You're going to go from feeling crushed and buried in the dark to feeling like that spinny, shiny diamonds. Okay. The next component is about accountability. Who is accountable? Who's responsible for every step of that funnel? And then who's accountable for holding that person responsible and getting the results? So if you have somebody who's posting the job post, but then somebody else is responding to them and somebody else is screening them, somebody else is interviewing them. And we've had those scenarios where there's like 5 different people and they're all touching different things and they got to pass batons back and forth. That's a broken system. That's really hard to manage well. If you have one person doing it all, that can also be a little bit difficult because you have multiple skill sets. But if you elevate their capability, maybe they're really good at screening and interviewing, but they're not very good at writing, the job post. You may want to adjust that and figure out who is responsible for each piece and making sure that they have the skill and capability of actually doing the work that they need and getting that 3 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. Now, whoever's holding them accountable to needs to know what to measure. And that's our next component of this, is that you can't have a system without tracking progress. You got to track results. Here's an example of the results we track internally. Now, the vernacular is a little bit different because we have our internal rejection rate, and then we pass along to the client after the first interview or the screening call. And the client takes on kind of this part kind of forward. So kind of looking, I want to give you guys some benchmarks so you understand where some of the numbers come from. So this is actual client data for a singular location for the last 5 months. They had 200 applied. Still trying to contact 75 of those 200, did not respond, but we keep at it until they reject us. You never know. Rejected 60 of the 200 and then screened 65. And then after the first interview, we dumped 45. So that means there were 20 left who passed along to our client, of which they hired 9. So this is the kind of data you want to look at. Because if you have these numbers on a monthly basis, you can actually start like looking at where the issue is. So the hired to applied rate, which is basically this number here at the end to the applied rate back here, is critical. So the 9 divided by 200, that's a 4.5%. So you have to go through 200 applicants to get 9 hires at the end of the day. If that ratio is between like 1 and 5%, you're doing great. So people are looking for like, I get 10 applicants, I hire 5 people. That does not work in any circumstance. I mean, at GYC, we went through like 3,000 people to hire 1 writer at one point, and 300 of them went through like a competition with us that we paid them for before we got to the end result. If you want to hire great people, these are the ratios that you're looking at. Now, if you look at the ratio between attempting content and internally rejected, that's the applicant quality. So if this is too high and your number of 75 to 200 and you're still trying to get in touch with them, there might be an issue. It might be an issue with the title of your job. It might be with your job post itself. It might be how much money you're spending on the advertising. If you're not getting enough applicants, it's usually about the job post or how much money you're spending or where you're posting that job. If these 2 numbers combined, 75 plus 60 over the applied number, those are basically kind of failed opportunities. If that's like at 95% of your total applicants, not that great. You need to fix something. Maybe your criteria is too stringent, or maybe you're not going through them quick enough, or there's something there that you got to basically investigate and figure out. If this number 65 over the ratio of 200 is not about 25% of the total application pool that you're screening, then again, you got to go back to your job post, go back to your Indeed budget, or maybe look at how many people you're contacting. Are you picking up the phone? Are you doing it fast enough, etc. So those are the kind of the diagnostics you would have to do looking at your numbers.
Case study. So you're going to have to give yourself time. If you're looking for 10 A players, you don't have the expectation, the false expectation, you're setting yourself up for failure to get them all in 1 month. Most likely that's just not going to happen, guys. And and there's other ways that we teach, like you can do a career fair at your center, and you can have a teacher referral program, and there's all different ways that you can be filling the top of your funnel with more applicants, more quality applicants. But I just wanted to, underscore the importance of this. This is, where the rubber really hits the road. If there's nothing else that you do from this webinar, take this data and this process and this system that Bruce is sharing, this is incredible information, Bruce, and figure out how you can apply it with the weakest link process and method to your business. And you will be, you will be off to the races, and you will never look back.
That's exactly right. If you don't have the data, you can't make the decisions. So we've got about half an hour left in this webinar, and I've got a few more slides, and then we've got a really amazing opportunity for you guys. So we have, here's the benchmark for a larger location that needed a few more hires. You can see their hire to applied ratio was 1%. So they went through 1,277 applications to get 12 hires. And it's a highly competitive environment. It's, this is an okay number. It's not fantastic, but it's good. It's better than for 5 months previous to us, they hired nobody. So it's better to have 12 hires in 5 months and going through all these than not. And these hires are changing the business, opening up new classrooms, opening up new opportunities, taking all the firefighting and issues that are slowly being resolved as their existing teachers are getting support and help. Here's a benchmark for 4 locations over a 9-month period, just to see kind of some bigger numbers. You'll see the hire to applied rate is still around the same, 3.8%. It's very good. This client's been with us for like 3 years, I think, since we started. Our program. She's been through all the ups and downs, but really got it dialed in. She opened up a new center, so you need a lot of folks. And then she was like, "Oh, I got my center full. Wow, I'm getting some good applicants. I'm going to continue." And then going back to the other 3 locations and going, "Well, where can I get rid of some C and D players or B- players and replace them with better opportunity?" And hiring is a game that never ends. So you got to sort this out, build it as a system, and put the metrics in place, and then off to the races you go, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Now, if you really want to supercharge a system and really get into, this is being recorded, and it will be sent out afterwards. But if you really want to supercharge your system and get their metrics and get that data and make it like easily understandable, get reports out of this, what you're looking for is an applicant tracking system. That's called an ATS. If you guys use a CRM like IntelliKit or Line Leader for your enrollment, this is the exact same thing. It's basically a CRM, but for applicants. It connects up to Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all those other big job boards, and most good ATSs do. Not all of them do. You're going to be careful. All the applications then come in from all those job boards to one central interface, and then you move people down your pipeline so they fully understand. So they get all the automations, automated emails, and text messages, and you can book people. They have that calendar booking link right in there. So it really supports, and it's a piece of software that will support your system. You never want it that way. You'll never lose a lead. You can amplify that speed. You get the tracking and the reporting. It helps you diagnose where the gaps and issues are. You can post to multiple job boards, obviously. Some of them will let you manage media budgets within those as well, so you can promote your jobs. It's all in one place. You don't have to go log in Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all this stuff. You just go into one place. All the jobs come in, including your career page and your website, all of that stuff, social media, etc. You can text and email directly in the system, so it's good at sending those out. You don't need another system to do that. You get that accountability, and then you get the systemizer process, really turn it into a boss mode system where you're solving root cause problems, you're getting the data you need, and you're going in and refining that, and you're continuously improving it. Software is one of the best things that helps you build a process and system. So now, if you take everything we just learned about today and you apply this, I promise you, you're going to get more good people applying to your job post. Can you guys give me like a heck yeah in the chat? And you can see how if you went through and applied just one tip from every single one of those kind of steps, the 7 steps, you can see how it could amplify. Like you've taken at least 1 or 2 golden nuggets out of this. Awesome, yeah? Awesome. Cool. So this will also improve your show up rate. You're going to have more offers accepted, and you're going to get a massive improvement in the quality of folks coming to work for you. I promise you this. It is you got to do all the different steps, and you got to crush each piece, and then you'll get the result. That's how these things work. And we've got just bucket loads of proof of great clients who've implemented some of this stuff and all of it, and they're still working on getting that. They got their 3s to 5s, they got the 5s to 6s, they got the 6s to 7s, continuously improving that, and they can see the results going up and up and up. It's exactly true, Chris. So guys, I want to invite you to come down the rabbit hole with me a little bit. We have an opportunity for you to kind of participate in this brand new program that we're launching right now. It is game changing. I think it's going to be just an absolute game changing opportunity in the childcare industry. And I want you to, in 30 days, to be 10 times better off than you are today. And that's kind of where the promise is on this piece. And our new program is called the Superstar Staffing System. Effectively, your staff in-house getting our systems, our processes, our tools, everything that we do well on behalf of clients, and giving them to you guys, supporting you, training you, teaching you, holding you accountable to the whole thing. It is an entire system for hiring, and it has a little bit of those onboarding and retention components built into it as well. So what does it look like? Well, there's 4 pillars to building a great system. Number 1 is having the applicant tracking system. So we want to deploy one for you and get you guys using a software application to help you guys manage all this. Because if you don't have good data, really hard to get the great results. And applicant tracking systems are expensive. We'll walk through some of that. I'm going to give you the training tools and templates, job posts that are done for you, all the training you need, interviews, the questions, job offers, everything available to you at your fingertips. And having the tools right there to be able to go in, have a scorecard, deploy that, how to read it, how to get the reports out of your ATS, etc. We want to give you guys the support you need to do that, a peer-to-peer community, as well as experts that have been recruiting actively in the childcare industry for years, and give you guys their thousands and thousands of hours of experience to help you diagnose. And then from your peers to get Misery Loves Company to help you figure out what they figured out, and you to help them. And there's nothing better than teaching somebody else some of your secrets to help somebody who doesn't compete with you, and to make the world kind of a better place. And finally, no system is complete without accountability and giving you guys kind of the support you need on a one-on-one basis to implement an amazing in-house hiring system. So what we want to do is level up your in-house hiring team and process. So it's your staff. We're going to work with you guys, support you guys, and you're going to build it yourselves with our tools and training and systems. Whether you have 1 location or 20 and you need 2 to 3 staff or 50 plus, this will work. If you're desperate for people, this will work. If you're tried everything and you're feeling like you just can't get the right answer, I promise you this will work. You will get to a good place. If you show up and you implement and you work the system, you will 100% get a result. We actually guarantee it. So we're giving you guys, with the program comes a guarantee of improving your hiring rate. So the first thing is we want to supercharge our system with applicant tracking. So I want to show you what that looks like. Nothing better than showing you what an awesome applicant tracking system does. So I'm going to invite Lex, our operations manager in our recruiting department, to give us a little demo. Lex, are you ready to unmute and show your screen and give us a little demonstration of the applicant tracking system these good folks will get by joining us?
Yes. Hello, everyone. All right, let me share my screen. And let me move us out of the way as well. Okay, so this is the dashboard. On the left-hand side, you'll have your to-dos. So I see here I have one new applicant that needs to be reviewed. I'll have my upcoming interviews for the day right here in the center, which is really great. If I scroll down, I'll have my applicant flow. And this is actually customizable by date range. So from this main dashboard, I could post a job, or if I go into jobs, I could post a job. I'm going to show you how to do that on the dashboard quickly. So if you click on add new, you'll have all of our templates like Bruce went over. So I'm just going to click on lead teacher so you can kind of see what this looks like a bit. There's some prompts and questions up here for you, and then the description is in here. And as Bruce was going over, it is important to have a exciting and different job description. So you see we have the benefits listed at the top, a job summary, why you want to work here, why work for us, exceptional management, etc. And then at the bottom would be the responsibilities and qualifications. Now you are going to want to make sure that you always go in and change these qualifications and responsibilities to mirror your positions. And then there's some more questions down here for you to fill out. So this is one way to post a job. Now, if you click on jobs, you can also do new job and do the exact same thing right here. So from this screen, there's a few different things that you can do. We can filter what type of jobs we want to look at. So all, active, refresh, closed, draft, or passive. I'm on all right now. So I see that I have 2 drafts and a passive job right now. Okay, so now there's some quick access features. So we can see the job title, when they need to be refreshed, the location of this job, the employment type of this job, applicant count, when they were last modified, and then we have some quick actions. So we'll look at the passive. We can edit, share, or close the job right from here. We can also do a few other things from here, like view the profile, view the actual job posting. Okay, so now if I wanted to get more in depth on a specific job, I would click on the title of the job. And now it is going to bring me right in here. So on the left-hand side, I see a quick overview of applicants. In the middle, I'll have another applicant flow summary like I did on my dashboard, but this one is job specific, still customizable by date range. If you scroll down, you'll see some recent activity on candidates, and then on the right side, some user activity. Scroll down a bit more. This is my favorite part personally. It's a source conversion performance chart. So basically you can see your applicants and clicks that you're receiving per job board. And this is date range customizable as well. If you click on view more sources, you can select more sources that you do want to view at the moment. Let's say maybe you're also posting on Facebook right now. You could turn that toggle on and it'll now show you Facebook as well. On this left-hand side, you can manually share your job. So with this ATS, it's really awesome. There's actually a list of automatic free job boards that your job will go out to, and I'll show you that in just a second. But maybe there's a few more you want to do manually. So let's say I wanted to post to Facebook. I would just click share. It's going to open a new little window. I'm already logged into my Facebook. It's going to bring up this link. When somebody clicks on this link, it'll automatically bring them to the job description or posting and the application for them to fill out. What's really cool is you can pick where you post it as well. So I could post it on my newsfeed or story. Maybe I'm in a child care group in my area. I could do that as well. However I want to post this.
On your business page, obviously.
Yeah, yes. All right. So because I don't have an actual job posted, this is a test account. I do have a list of the job boards right here that it goes out to for free. So don't be confused. It will go out to Indeed for you for free, but this is one of the ones that we always do recommend you adding a sponsorship to as well. But the majority of these, you wouldn't really need to add sponsorship to. We really say Indeed. And if you want to get crazy, you can add ZipRecruiter in there too. And then you'll have your automatic sources listed here. But again, this isn't an actual posted job at the moment, so there's nothing to show right here right now. So now let's say I go to the applicants tab and give it just a second. I don't know why it just decided to reload on me. Okay. So at the top right here, I see that I have one new applicant. It's great that it has this big bolded green button for me. I could start the review right here to make sure I'm always keeping up with the freshest data that I have, basically. Now I can also filter through my applicants like I did with my jobs. So all, active, etc. I can also pick between certain jobs, certain locations. Now, we're going to mainly focus on Bob Test. This is my best test applicant to show you guys. So we can see his name, what he applied for, his recent role if he would have put one in. If you see the very last applicant, test applicant, They were an agent at New York Life Atlanta. Their current step is references, and then the next action. So the next action would be to send an invitation to provide references, and then some quick actions so we can advance them to the next step, deactivate them, or text or email them. I'm going to click on this button just so you guys can kind of see what this looks like. I have sent emails and text messages to this test candidate. So this is the email I've sent. And then these are some texts. So you can see you can actually attach links to YouTube videos, whatever you like. Maybe you guys have a cool video that you want them to view, and everything will be right in here for you. When you first start a text message thread with somebody, it's just going to ask you for your preferred area code, and then it'll make up a phone number for you. Pretty simple. All right.
All
so
that's
now,
built in.
yes, absolutely. And now with Bob Test, if I hover over this 97 right here, what that is a scoring system out of 100. Obviously, he scored very well. This means he answered the pre-screening questions attached to this job very well. So if I hover over it, you can see the questions and the answers that he submitted as well. If I really like him, clearly he scored a 97, so he must be great. I can even add him to my favorites right here. Now, just like with a job, you can view more detailed information about an applicant. So if I were to click on his name, it would bring me to his file. On this left-hand side, we have a bit of an overview. So we can see where he is in the process. Applicant evaluation. So these are the pre-screen questions he filled out. And then if you wanted him to do some type of personality assessment, you can also include that. And then his results would be right here. We have our scorecards, which are awesome. So these scorecards are basically the questionnaire templates that you would use on a pre-screen or a in-person interview. Even for references, we have some questionnaires. And then we have it broken down by position to make it very customized for you guys. So for a phone screen, you see we have a driver, teacher, receptionist, etc.
And you guys can edit any of those documents. So
yes, absolutely.
You can use ours as a template and then go in and modify and edit and add.
Yes, definitely. And then under documents, the resume will always be there. And then you're always going to see their resume on the right-hand side. Let's say you like to do things old school. You like to print out and write it on a piece of paper. You can actually scan or take a picture of these documents and then upload them back in here with your notes as well, which is awesome. And then under all activity, simply it's just all the activity associated with this candidate. So now let's say we've done
all this stuff is coming in from the job board that it came in from. So if they applied through Indeed, it's the stuff they have on Indeed. If they applied through ZipRecruiter, it's the stuff they have on ZipRecruiter. So you don't have to manually kind of put anything in. It all gets, as long as you have a job post and people respond to it, it'll appear there.
Right. So this is a ZipRecruiter resume. I did not have to manually put this in here. Oh. So let's say we looked at everything on this candidate. We think he's great. We want to get started. We would start what's called autopilot. Very similar to Calendly, like Bruce explained, it is their automated scheduling system, but this system takes it one step farther than Calendly. It'll actually reach out to the candidate on your behalf and text and email them multiple times to book with you, rather than you having to reach out to them yourself. So that saves a lot of time right there. So I'm going to click on Begin Autopilot right here. Typically, this would start with the phone screen, but I've been messing around with this candidate, so we're going to do it from right here. All right, so I have this toggle switched on, which saves everything that I've already selected. I'm just going to turn it off so you guys can see everything. This is the interview step. It's in person, so I would select in person. If it's a phone screen, we always suggest phone or video. It'll have the address of the center or wherever the interview is held, how long you want the interview to last for. Typically, we say an hour. Maybe you guys do working interviews. You can make them longer. Who the interview is, that's me. How long they can schedule up until. Typically a week, maybe 2 weeks, depending on how fast you need a candidate, but I really wouldn't say anything farther out than a week. And then down here, if you click on
and really, if you're highly competitive, you want to do it within a day or two. Just make sure you have calendar spots available.
Definitely.
Yeah, if you're going to do a day or two, make sure you have multiple slots open for them. And then when you click on this drop down, it'll show you all the messages that are actually going to go out to these candidates as well. So the confirmations, the reminders, the initial messages. And then again, you can turn this toggle on and it'll save all of these prompts for you so you don't have to do it every single time. Now, typically, if you were doing this in the right order, when you're on this page right here, it'll say start autopilot right here, and you could just do all that from here. You don't have to do it from in the candidate's profile. And now the last thing I want to go over is reports. So that's this last tab right here. A few different filters.
This is my favorite tab.
Of course, definitely Bruce's favorite. There's a few different filter options, so you can see kind of what's going on with your clicks per apps. This is super important. If you have 50 people clicking on your job and only one person has applied, you know there's a problem with your job description. Maybe your pay scale, something's up there. Job detail, time to fill. This is also super important. How long is it taking you to make a hire? Source analysis. This is one of my personal favorites. So all applicants or hired applicants you can look at, and it'll tell you which job boards these applicants are coming from. So maybe you have 50 applicants from Indeed and only 5 from ZipRecruiter. You know Indeed is working the best for you. You can also do filters like specific job, specific templates, regions, locations, etc. User activity. This is great for owners that want to check in on what their recruiters and admin are doing for them. And then if you click on reports, you can build your own custom report. Just put in your email that you want this to be sent to, create reports, and then there's a bunch of different labels over here for you to select from to create your own report, basically. You can even do it in an interval or custom time date range. So this is basically the entire ATS in a short, and you can take back over, Bruce.
Cool. I'm gonna end screen sharing. Thanks, Lex. Isn't that crazy how cool that was? So let's get back into where's my screen share button. Here we go. So the ATS is just an incredible tool. It will really help you kind of just crush everything that you're doing. So now what we're going to do is install it for you, customize it fully for the childcare industry, all our best practice, all tools, everything that Lex just showed you. Our job posts already pre-formatted. You can go in, you can edit the templates, fix them up any way you like, save them again. You can add your own, etc. We just wanted to build it out as the way that we use it internally here. And obviously, you can customize it. Now, if you need anything customized done that you can't do from a technological standpoint, we'll try and figure it out and see if we can do it for you. But it's a fully branded system with your own URL. The ATS cost of licensing and implementation for some of the big players in the industry, like big but not enterprise, Create, Lever, Recruit CRM. To install these kinds of things, you're paying. We know because we installed all 3 of these and we've used them all. We paid somewhere in the neighborhood of about $12,000 to $15,000 for each one to get it installed, and then customize and do all that setup for us. And then there's the licensing fees on top of that. They're generally on a per user basis for some of those. All of those 3 actually have per user licenses. So if you have 3 or 4 people working in your system, you're generally paying, $7,000 to $8,000 to $9,000 a year for your user licenses. And then some also have a per location fee. It depends what it is. So we're including this in our Superstar Staffing system, singular location, unlimited ATS users. We don't charge by user. And then your location, it depends on where you're at and how many locations you have, and how geographically connected they are. So if you recruit from one for all of them, or you recruit each one individually, we can work with you and figure that piece out. There's a small incremental fee per location. Our training tools and templates, our job post template preloaded inside your ATS. You get complete training in a system called Notion, where we build all our business systems in there. You get welcome offer templates. You get the data tracking scorecard. You get to learn about how to use the metrics. You get all your ATS how-to videos and instructions, interview questions, training, and so much more. This is the most robust training tool and template system probably in the world when it comes to childcare and recruiting and hiring. Normally I do a little demo here, but if you want to hop on a call with Shelby, she can walk you through all the details for that. If you're going to go out to the market and find an HR company to help you build all this stuff and deploy this for you, it'll cost somewhere between $8,000 to $12,000. And if you want it really customized towards the childcare industry and your business, it's going to be probably double that. So that's all included. It's all customized, direct, how to use all the systems that we want to deploy for you that we know have worked and have worked for others in the past. Guys, we're so excited by this. It's like, if I'm talking a little quickly, it's my excitement level is it's kind of going through the roof. So I just think this is so cool. So support system. So that's the 3rd pillar of having an awesome system. We have an onboarding and orientation. We'll help you set up and the ATS set up and configure it for you specifically. You can email us anytime. We also have a Slack community, which is super cool. If you ever use Slack internally, give you access to that. I think it's a lot better than being on Facebook or other locations for that community building. There's just some great benefits to it. It's a contained system that's, it works on mobile, tablet, desktop, really easily accessible, easy to thread conversations, do lots of really cool stuff. You're also going to have monthly support calls where you can any Q&A, getting support, access to people, our experts. We talk about industry trends, best practices, share new tricks, tactics that are working now, and we add those. Will be deployed in the Slack community as well as on the Q&A calls. The industry value of that is about $500 a month. We went to HR companies and asked them what that would look like, and that's what it would be, and this is all included for you guys. The accountability is a fourth pillar, one-on-one monthly calls. You can assign what we call your own staff or superstar recruiter that you want to head up that. It could be you as the owner, it could be someone you assign. And if you want multiple people on those accountability calls, they're short, fast, furious calls that really drill down and focus. It's better to have one person, but if you want multiple of your team members there, that's not a problem. You're just going to get less time per person. They're also going to do one-on-one quarterly review calls with you, the owner. So you can review overall how your account's doing, look at your ATS, look at those numbers, and really kind of give you guys what the next thing to work on is, if there's any issues along the way. We'll also review quarterly 2 interview or screening calls. If you guys record them, you send them to us. We'll take a look and give you some advice and feedback. And if you want that input. We do account health check-ins. We have a master account. We can just scan through and see if you guys are using your ATS and how you're doing. We basically have like a no center left behind policy that we want people to succeed in this. I mean, like staffing is hard, but getting the support you need and buying a program is great. Implementing and using that program is most important of all. So we want to make sure that every dime you spend with us is a dime that makes you $1 at least, $10 better, $100, $10,000 even better. So spend a dime, make way more at the end of the day. The call agendas can go from tactical how-to, like we need help with this, to high-level strategic, hey, we're thinking about this, what do you think? You're working with us, our best people. The value for that is about $5,000 a year. It's included in the Superstar staffing system. So when we put all that together, it's a package value of about just over $35,000. Everything, unlimited users, unlimited Superstar staff. You can add in, you get the training, get the tools, get the Slack community, etc. Of course, our price is nowhere near that. We're going to make an investment that's far less, and the setup fee is $5,000, and then there's an annual license fee of $69.95. We'll get you set up, pay your license fee, pay your setup costs, and off to the races you go. Now, Chris and I have a shared mission. When we got together at GYC, we both have a passion for entrepreneurs, for business owners, the folks who put their money on the line for their businesses. That's why we don't work with large corporate entities. And we really have a respect and a care and a love and a support. And it literally breaks our heart when we see you guys suffer for things that we feel like we could be an answer for. And our mission at GYC is to be a world-class marketing and recruitment partner to you, so you can focus on what matters the most, and that's the kids. And I have my own kids, and we've been doing this for 5 years. William has been with us. I've been using pictures of him since he was just under 2 years old, and now he's 7, going to grade 2, just started. And Lucas is now 3 and starting a new preschool. And he was really excited the first day, really sad the second day, and really excited the third day. Now he walks in like he's a champ. I love it, and it's all because of folks like you. And this issue of having dark or unenrolled classrooms, all that money you're leaving on the table, the firefighting, the juggling of staff, the cost of turnover, the exhaustion of all this, losing your best staff. God, I feel heavy in my chest just like reading this list. And Chris told you some stories, and I mean, I can't tell you how many. Every time I talk to, every third, fourth person I speak to in the industry, it just has a bad story to tell about this stuff, and it's heartbreaking. And we want to end that vicious cycle. And we're not a white knight. We are a cat riding a unicorn. So this is what we have for you guys. We have a launch special where we're going to eat the setup fee, And our annual license cost is going to be $69.95. All you have to do is just pay that full upfront, and you get access to absolutely everything. You'll have the applicant tracking system for the full year set up, configured for you, all the training, the tools, support, the accountability, everything for that full year. Even better, year 2 onwards is going to get cheaper. And this is our launch offer. This is only for the next 1.5 weeks, basically. Year 2 onwards, the price is going to drop down to $49.95. And again, unlimited staff, unlimited ATS users, and all that support, all that accountability, everything that we do is continuously getting updated and trained. Literally every day, things are getting changed and modified and improved as the situation in the market changes and evolves, and we get new tactics, new ideas that are working better and better. If you need a payment plan, and we know that sometimes eating like a $69.95 fund upfront from a cash flow perspective is really tough, and since this is like trying to get you guys in a better space, I mean, to be honest, our core services are marketing enrollment systems that we started, and we want to help you get your staff and get your classrooms open if you need more kids. So this is in our best interest. We want to give you guys a payment plan option. It's a little bit more expensive, obviously, but the 12-month commitment, and you're paying $695 a month moving forward. Now we get a bonus. We're going to do a live kickstart. We want to get people from 0 to 100 miles an hour as quickly as possible. It's 30 days of pure awesomeness. It's a whole curriculum, live trainings every week, homework you got to get done. Your ATS gets put in play. You get all the pieces. You're being held accountable by your peer group. We're going to handhold and walk you through all the setup, everything you guys need to diagnose, figure out your system. And we want to get this implemented as fast as possible for you. So in the next month, your systems are going from whatever they are, from 2s, 3s, 7s, 8s, whatever they are, doubling, tripling, getting better and better throughout every week until you're doing so well that some of your hiring challenges are starting to get solved. And guys, this alone has been worth it for many people, and will be totally worth it for you guys. So this is what the opportunity looks like, guys. This is our very best deal. It's going to expire on the 22nd, which is next Friday. We can't sustain this for all the work that we're doing for you guys and our hard costs in the back. So these prices will change. If you guys are interested in this, meet up with Shelby. She'll prepare a proposal for you. She'll answer any of your questions that you may have. growyourcenter.com/let's go. That's an easy URL. If you go to Grow Your Center and click any of the buttons, that will take you to an opt-in form as well, and to get moving with that. Thanks, Chris, for posting that. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to open up the floor to anything that you've got that you, additional locations. For you guys paying attention, if you need additional locations, and they're talk to Shelby first, because we might be able to cluster things. But the ways that Indeed and ZipRecruiter and their advertising and the way that they manage their systems, on the ATS, there's a per location fee, adding in a new map link to what they do. So it's $9.95 a year, or add it for $95 a month. If you have more than 5 locations and then 10 locations are the thresholds for it to get a little bit of a discount. We're basically just passing that discount to you guys. That's pretty much a hard cost for us on this stuff. So we're just kind of flowing through it and giving you guys the support and the attention and everything you need to just absolutely crush your hiring. And that is our very best offer today. Thanks.